Welcome to the North Coast Podcast, coming to you hot from Sarasota, Florida, for the Sarasota Improv Festival. Coming in, I'm the Duggernaut, Douglas Widick. How you doing?
Yo, I'm Ralf, a.k.a. Precious Gorgeous.
I'm Dr. Brick.
And we are in a hotel room on the floor in Sarasota with one of the most talented improvisers on the planet and one of the kindest humans I've ever met. Give it up for the one and only MC Hammersmith, Will Name. How you doing?
Oh, what a delightfully hyperbolic introduction. I'm doing great. It's a pleasure to see you guys. It's lovely here.
Yeah.
Sarasota's so warm.
It is too hot.
It's so humid. It's like a wet oven. I hate it.
It's brutal.
Love the city. Hate the climate. Awful. How do people live like this?
Brick and I just walked outside from the workshop, from the theater, and we were truly blinded.
Yeah.
We could not. It was so bright and so hot.
I know. And people here are so old. The entire town is like a sauna in an old people's home. In a retirement village. It's awful.
Is this your introduction to Florida?
This is my first time in Florida, yes. I may have gone to Disneyland when I was 7, but I'm not counting those memories because I don't have them.
I'm not counting memories I don't have.
Yeah,
True.
But I've heard universally amazing things about this state, and it's a pleasure to see them all realized. It's a pleasure to be here and see it's all true.
I sense a little bit of British sarcasm in there.
Never.
No.
All I want to do is meet some Republicans and wrestle a gator. That's all I'm here to do.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
It will happen.
Yeah.
It will happen.
Yeah.
I was scared that I went paddleboarding this morning, and I was a little bit scared. I was like, are there gators in the bay? Like, there could be.
In the bay?
There's none, right?
Okay, all right.
But, like, I mean, they wouldn't be renting stand-up paddleboards to tourists in a place
That's
where you
true.
could be just, like, pulled off your board.
Yeah.
It's usually swamps, like Everglades and all that stuff.
Okay, I've learned something. That's fine then.
Well,
Yeah.
there is that. What is that? Is it an Otis Redding song? Not sure.
That Otis Redding song, Don't Rent a Paddleboard in a Swamp.
No, is it not sure if there's Crocs in the bay? Where they're gonna bite me?
It's a little parody. Not sure if there's Crocs in the bay. Not gonna buy them they.
I'm not sure if there's Crocs in the bay. Will I die?
Oh.
Yeah. Man, it's just what I say. I'm really not sure if there are crocs in the bay. What on earth is that? There's nothing saner. Is it a crocodile or an alligator? I'm not sure if they're there in the water. Step into the gator, it's absolute torture. I'm going in, yeah, I'm busting in. Oh, it's neither. It's a motherfucking Republican.
Oh, not sure if there's Crocs in the bay. I'm paddling
Boarding, I don't wanna get ate. Yeah.
Yo, I'm on it and I'm feeling like a living spree. I'm looking to my right and there's a manatee. But no, you know I don't mean to be a hater, cause it is actually a well-costumed gator. It's got a hat on, it's looking like a sheath, and then it's saying, yo, I've got my teeth. Do not paddleboard near me because I'll be rude. I am you, you are my lunch, you are my food.
Sure if there's Crocs in the bay.
Hey.
I'm paddle boarding, I don't wanna get ate. Yeah. I'm not sure if there's Crocs in the bay. I don't wanna die. Yeah. Ooh. I don't know if I'm gonna survive this paddleboard session. I wanna be alive at the end, and I'm not sure if this the best thing I should have done today. My paddleboard got a chomp in it. I don't understand a thing. Oh no, it got green little eyes that is beating, and it looked like in days it has not eaten. Oh no, I better get on out of this bay before it's snack time.
No, that's how we start out the podcast.
Yeah, it's sick.
Oh my gosh. Well, the reason I ask if this is your first time in Florida is Florida's hot, but this is out of control.
Yeah, it's wild. I did the Perth and Adelaide Fringes in 2019, 2020, and yeah, that was 40 degrees Celsius like every single day. Not sure what that is in Fahrenheit, but here feels significantly worse.
Yeah.
Like a wet 30 is worse than just a dry 40, and there must be a better way to phrase that
Wet
as well.
30 is when I call my shower time. I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
I mean, what you described as my actual life timeline. I had a wet 30 and a dry 40. I'm not 40 yet, but that's
It's crusted up.
Yeah.
It's getting less moist. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, it's unbearable. The humidity is what is causing. I mean,
Yeah.
I was telling you earlier, like in Texas, it'll be 100, and you'll be like, oh well, it's not too bad here. But like, it's you walk out and you can't go longer than 10-15 minutes.
Yeah, just 5 minutes in the heat is just unbearable.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's nice to get some vitamin D for a change.
Yeah,
True.
precisely.
I've been thinking, like, I have to say it. People in Florida are, in their own way, really good looking, and I think it's because they're glowing from all this sun. It'll kill them, but now they look good.
Their pores are regularly being like cleaned and cleared out. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of beautiful people in this city, but I think they will die from the sun exposure. Yeah,
I mean, such a contrast to Scotland, where I live, where everyone's just toothless and ugly, and just
Oh, God.
that's a good
just
segue.
haggard
So,
freaks.
Yeah. So, all right. So, Will, you're here from Scotland. Tell everybody on the North Coast podcast that doesn't know who you are a little bit about yourself and MC Hammersmith.
I'm a freestyle rap comedian from West London. I've been living in Edinburgh for 13 years. I do a lot of improv. So the improv I do I do narrative teams. I do a show called Spontaneous Potter, which is an improvised wizarding adventure. And obviously, you have to... given the fact I look like this, for the listeners, I look like Harry Potter. To be clear, you got to profit off this aesthetic. And yeah, the hip hop improv I do improvised rap comedy based on audience suggestions under my rap name MC Hammersmith. I started out in comedy clubs, and now I do UK tours, the solo shows and stuff. And it's a delight to be able to jump in on shows like the one we are doing this evening with you guys, doing long form improv that is hip hop as well, scenes into raps. It's just so much fun because there's not a lot of other people in Scotland who can freestyle rap, and they don't do improv. So it's
I wish there was more Scottish hip hop improv.
I don't think anyone's ever said that before.
I wanted to say, did I mishear this, that your name comes from like a province or something, the Hammersmith?
Yeah, so Hammersmith, I should explain, is quite a middle-class, posh part of West London. Yeah, so Hammersmith is the area of London I was born in.
Damn, that's such a badass name. And then I learned that. I was like, well, that's an interesting dynamic, an interesting contrast. I thought Hammersmith was just like, I beat hammers into the beat.
Oh, sick. Yeah, no one's ever pointed that out to me before. Yeah, yeah, that's not a given, like, yeah.
Yeah,
I tend not to gig abroad so much, and I notice the name doesn't translate at all. So it's interesting to hear people's perceptions. They think I'm a lot cooler than I am.
Yeah.
Like, this guy sounds great. What a sick name. Then they look at me and then hear the way I speak, and they're like, oh, no, he's just a bespectacled dweeb. That's fine.
I also want to say, I think I only really am just getting acquainted with your work last night, hearing you did an amazing freestyle with the audience suggestions. And one thing I noticed, I wonder if you know this about your style, and maybe I shouldn't say this, but I think the appeal that I heard was like, to hear you rap, there's such a exuberance and glee. It's like a baby realizing they can walk. That's what it sounds like. When hearing you rap, you're like, I can rap. You know, you're excited by your own skill, and in like a very genuine, like ebullient. Is that the right word?
Oh, that's cool.
You know, it's beautiful.
I want to jump on that. You rapping and you discovering and like enjoying your own self rapping.
Yeah.
It's similar to that metaphor that Keegan Michael Key says about stepping backwards in a room and the room developing itself. That's like the metaphor for improv. It's like,
that's fun.
But it's like almost like you're doing that, even though you're like kind of have a game plan. It's very fun to watch you do your thing.
Thank you. It's interesting because, like, what's that Susan Messing saying? Commit, don't quit. And it's not enough to commit. You have to recommit. Even if I'm in my head when I'm freestyling, and even if I don't think it's going well, and even if I'm like, this isn't cool, or this isn't like particularly exciting, or this feels sticky and difficult. I found that just selling it and just lying to the audience and pretending this is the coolest thing in the world and like I'm having fun, that actually makes me have fun and convinces myself that it's cool, which in turn, like, it sells it to the crowd. So a lot, it's that thing of even if you're having a bad time, pretend you're having a good time.
Yeah.
And last night I had a great time, but even when I'm having a bad time, I like to think people can't tell the difference. So
A little bit of an outside-in approach.
Yeah. But no, it was joyous yesterday. Absolutely joyous.
You didn't have to lie to yourself.
Yeah, the show we did last night was the Musical Improv All-Stars here at the festival. So it was
Sarasota Improv Festival, and shout them out.
Yeah, it's so fantastic. If you've
Yeah.
never been, it's produced now back in person, post-COVID for the first time by Will Luera, who is one of the greatest festival producers
Yes, he is.
and also improv performers and just amazing human beings in the improv world. So shout outs to Will Luera. We love you. And yeah, last night's musical all-star show was pure joy from beginning to end.
Oh God, such a huge pleasure to be on stage with 10, 12, like phenomenally talented improvisers who, some of whom you've only just met, who have absolutely like no holdback in wanting to make you look good and vice versa. They are so keen to support the shit out of your idea and make you look like a genius. And when everyone's doing that for everyone else, it's like, yeah, this is the good shit.
Yeah. It was
Hell
so
yeah.
interesting seeing you guys play just with musical improv with other people because you know we're always performing with each other all the time. I always like when you when you have talent just as like awesome as you and just like an amalgamation of just like all these different like musical improvisers. It was really cool to like see like a different kind of chemistry evolve out of that,
Yeah.
and like just like but it ended up being a really fucking crazy show.
Right, and
Yeah.
sometimes it goes like, and no shade, like sometimes it goes the other way. You perform with a bunch of people you don't know, and instincts get misread, or someone hogs the stage or whatever.
Yeah.
But the focus sharing plus the fact that everybody was reading what the others were putting down.
Yeah.
God, it really was so fun. So hopefully there'll be some clips of that show.
I hope so,
online.
yeah.
You rapped as a redwood tree.
I
and
was a tree, yeah.
That was so great. I love that.
That was great fun. It was a scene where I think yourself and Stephanie initiated by going, what was your initiation? Just going, we need to water the plants. We need to water the plants.
I think was it your character or Stephanie's? You wanted a date?
So no, Stephanie was just talking about how she wasn't putting enough good vibes into the tree.
Oh yeah,
That was
Yeah.
it.
You had
So
bad
I
vibes.
played a giant redwood who was shrunk into a shrub because the vibes were so neggy because it was bad juju.
And by the
And
end, you'd grown into the tree of life.
Yeah, because of the love that those two found for their plant and also for each other.
Yeah.
And then being held up by everyone on stage
Oh,
as the
yeah.
biggest redwood. I went, this is
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
They're literally supporting me. Everyone just
Yeah.
got underneath and supported this one like idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't wait for those pictures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll look like a Christ-like figure starting a
That's
cult.
just your new branding.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Very deeply
from
problematic.
Potter to Jesus.
The natural progression. Yeah.
The one man Jesus show.
Yeah.
I'm so curious about what was the thing that initially was the catalyst for your love of hip hop and of rapping? Like, where did that?
Yeah.
What memory do you have? Is it a particular rapper? Is there a particular
Yes.
thing? Is there a particular thing, and you're like, I just like doing this thing?
So I was I guess you'd call it a theatre nerd. You know, they call it like a drama dweeb, like when I was growing up. And I did a lot of school plays when I was like 12. I remember, do you know the British rapper Akala? Heard of him? So he came out with a freestyle on radio that was every single Shakespeare play, and he worked into a freestyle.
wow.
Then he rewrote the freestyle, so put the improv into a written form, and it's called Comedy, Tragedy, History, and it's not even like a hip hop track. It's so fast, it's almost grime or D&B.
Oh.
But the speed of his lyrics, and I could still do every single word, where he's like name checking every Shakespeare play, doing puns on them, and that's verses 1 and 2. And verses 3 and 4 are different Shakespearean quotes that he's weaving bars in between, and there's punchlines, and it's funny, and it's fast, and it's clever. And I went, and it was the first, like, obviously I heard Eminem on the playground and everything, but that was the first, like, English rap track I heard that was like, oh my God, rap music's fucking sick. Yeah. And then on the back of that, got into rappers like Big L and Big Daddy Kane and Rakim, like golden age hip hop. And when I found out you could do punchlines in hip hop,
Yes.
like that was when I went, oh, this can be funny and clever and cool. Like, yeah. That was definitely a Carlo and like Big
So
Daddy
that was
Kane
like
and Big L.
your
Yeah.
moment where you saw the light and you're like, oh my God, I'm obsessed with this thing.
100%. Yeah, I wanted
Yeah.
to learn every single word.
And then when did you take that love? So you discovered it can be funny, right?
Yeah.
But then when did that And then did you start studying improv much later, or were you involved in like middle school short form or anything
I did
like
a lot
that?
of middle school short form. There was an improv club at my high school, which
Nice.
is very unusual for the UK.
Okay.
Very unusual
Wow.
because I mean, in the States, you guys will know there's a huge culture of hip hop when you're young, like in
Yeah,
middle
yeah,
school and
yeah.
high school. In the UK, there just isn't that at all. And we had a teacher who taught us drama who just had done some improv somehow. I don't even know where. But yeah, and it was dog shit. It was so bad. I went to an all-male school and a very like posh and privileged school. So you have
Yeah.
all these
Oh,
repressed
God.
male
Oh, no.
toxic teenagers just trying to be funny, which is a terrible combination for improv where you're supposed to be obvious and have fun and make things
So much
easy, you know?
pent up sexual energy.
Oh, God, so
and-
much of
and-
it.
Yeah.
I'd love to see a show like that. Just to see what that would materialize in.
Oh my god, yeah, I want to see it and then have the option to stop.
It's just an eject button.
Yeah.
Just see like what clip-on ties and acne just radiating.
Were these like the gray shorts and gray jackets? And, oh my
yeah.
god.
My school was so posh. In the final 2 years, when we were 17, 18, we didn't have to wear blazers. We got to wear office dress. So we got to dress in anything that would be appropriate to wear in an office.
Were they basically prepping you for like the world of finance? and
Yes,
business?
100%. And so many folk I went to school with are in that and are now lawyers and hedge fund managers and every sort of arsehole you can imagine. and I went into the arts, so my parents are really proud.
Oh my!
yeah.
And you were like, I'm sticking with this.
Yeah, exactly. I'm doing stuff with liberal sweethearts instead. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
How did your journey end up in Scotland, where you are now?
I went to Edinburgh Uni when I was 18. I just didn't want to live in London anymore because it was full of the type of people I went to school with. I
Right.
wanted to get out of London and to go somewhere more liberal, more artsy.
Yeah.
Ended up in Edinburgh because Oxford rejected me, which is absolutely
Fucking
fine.
Oxford. What did you want to study in Oxford?
I think it was, I didn't actually want to study in Oxford because it was, so I went to a school called St. Paul's and they called Oxford St. Paul's Summer Camp because it was full of like the sort of people I went to school with. And I was secretly so glad that like I got the opportunity to go somewhere else. I just think our school, like they made you apply to Oxford and Cambridge and aim high.
They made you what?
They made us apply to Oxford and Cambridge and aim high.
Oh,
Yeah.
got it.
And when
got
you
it.
will do this sort of thing because
Yeah.
it was an awful place. But on the flip side, got to go to Edinburgh, got to like live in Scotland, been there 13 years now, I've never left.
awesome.
I love it. It's a great country.
Suck it, Oxford.
Yeah.
I aimed high for Scotland. High for Scotland.
Suck it, Oxford.
I aimed high for Scotland. I'm in Scotland. Suck it, Oxford. You don't got the shit I need, huh? You don't understand, you all about greed.
Yes.
You don't understand what I need. I moved to Scotland, that's where I MC. Yeah, now I'm all about the arts. Oh, in London, they all about the farts. All the old farts in all their blazers. They don't know what to do when I come in blazers.
Suck it, Oxford.
I aim high in Scotland.
Suck it,
Oxford.
I aim high in Scotland.
Suck it, Oxford.
I aim high in Scotland.
Suck it, Oxford.
Suck it. Suck it.
Yeah, I'm saying this, yo, and we can raise up the temperature. Much better time, yo, that I now live in Edinburgh. Just so amazing, I bust with this stuff. Fuck you, Oxford, because I wasn't clever enough, and that is true. Man, it's oh so staggering. Check the way I bust with the rhymes that be challenging. Man, I fucking love that with all of the syllables. Oxford full of Tories, Scotland more liberal.
Ooh, Oxford.
I aim high in Scotland.
Suck it,
Oxford,
I
aim high in Scotland.
Suck it, Oxford.
I
Aim high in Scotland.
Suck it, Oxford.
Suck it. Suck it. Suck it.
Suck it.
Yeah, full of red trousered wanks like me.
Can't go any higher than y'all's verses there. That was so good.
It's great. Yeah, it's a very different vibe in Scotland. It's a cool time.
Yeah. It's such a charming city. Does the charm ever wear off, or
Edinburgh, no.
are you always just falling in love with a new corner of town?
Yeah, I mean, like the old town in Edinburgh. I mean, have you guys been? Because I know that when we
No.
brought North Coast out in 2018,
No, it
Doug
was just
came, but it
Doug
wasn't
and
you guys.
some
Yeah.
other
In a
people.
different crew.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I remember like when I first arrived in Edinburgh going, this is a fairy tale. And like still I'll like walk home like from a gig and walk across town and it's all lit up at night and be like, Christ, this architecture's incredible. Because the centre of town's from like the 1400s, 1500s. It's amazing.
It is so beautiful. Like when you're in London, it feels like, okay, this is business centric, right? This was a port town.
Yeah.
The deals are going down here. Where when you're in Edinburgh, like this is a city built to dream. It's a city like built to like kind of get lost in. Is it safe to say?
It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Yeah. And there's Harry Potter vibes. I mean, there really is.
Well, let me tell you. So for 10 years before I did freestyle rap full time, I was a tour guide for and ran the company of a Harry Potter tour agency. Yeah, so I was a Harry Potter tour guide for 10 years.
Yeah.
Stood in the streets of Edinburgh dressed as a wizard.
Wild.
Yeah.
What was
Again, you got to monetize this look.
Yeah, no,
you got to
sure.
monetize it. Yeah. You're very business savvy, Will. You're definitely one of the smartest comedians I know in terms of the business side.
That's far too kind. But yes, the Potter money is definitely where a lot of the business in Edinburgh is, because it's a Harry Potter town, because she wrote the books there.
Right, in that
did she?
hotel,
Oh.
right?
Yeah, she wrote the final chapter, book 7, in the Balmoral Hotel in Edinburgh.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is like £1,000 a night to stay in, right?
Even more,
Jeez.
£3,000 a night for that
Yeah.
suite. Yeah.
So she was that rich at that point.
Well, yeah, after 6 books, yeah.
Personally, I want to know, how do you find the balance or carry the tension of being an excitable, passionate creative,
Yeah.
and having a business mind and trying to be an entrepreneur, which I feel like is something you have to be being an independent artist.
Yeah, as in, how do I balance being excited while also being a self-employed comedian, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm sure you guys all have the same thing, but the burnout from making your own clips and from from having to feel like you are on 24/7, and if you don't make enough content, then you're not enough and other people are doing better. That is hard, but I guess like it's that old adage of don't compare yourself to others, go at your own pace. Every time I release content, somebody comments, MC Hammersmith back. I'm like, I've not been anywhere. I've been making this. Because it takes me so long to write something, produce something, get it mixed and mastered, film it, because I also do live gigs. So next year I'm doing far fewer live gigs and focusing much more on the content. So that's pushed me there, but I've also been in that sort of joyous and almost stubborn way. Like, I will do this at my own pace. It's fine.
And do you feel like the system wants you to compromise your level of quality?
Yes, I do. Maybe you guys have seen this in the stand-up world, but I see a lot of stand-up comedy peers like, I'm not going to name anybody, but I see a lot of like stand-up comedy peers in cities like London and Manchester, Liverpool, where there are big comedy communities.
Yeah.
The drive is to release like a clip a day of their stuff.
Yeah.
But the problem is the quality then suffers.
And they're posting like 10-second clips
Yeah.
where they're literally saying something. I've seen stand-up clips without a laugh line
Yeah.
get posted, and I'm like, okay, so you're just feeding the algo.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Feeding the algo. I love that.
Oh, yeah. Feeding that algo. 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 Okay, I'm coming on the digital life, so absurd. I'm trying to feed the algorithm designed by Zuckerberg. It's so fun. Yeah, I got my meta hat on, and I'm about to post something on that platform. I'm trying to go digital, physical when I'm going on Instagram. When I post the 10-second clips, you know them reels going ham. I want to get 10K views. I want to get 100K, because maybe I'll make videos, money on this shit one day.
Feeding the algo.
Feeding that algo.
Feeding that algo. Feeding that algo.
Feeding that algo. Feeding that algo. Feeding that algo. Feeding that algo.
Yeah, now you go, because yes, it will be better. What you gonna speak about? Maybe Instagram or Meta?
Maybe I'll post it right before you. If I go, then nobody will know that I came first on the flow.
Oh, that's really sick. You do that with the zeal, but you could say that if you're not true, you're not real.
Real, talking about reels. I gotta post a reel before you post a reel, or I'll be real mad.
Oh my god, I feel that when I'm spitting that hip hop. Every day I feel the need to post that shit on TikTok.
I'm gonna report you, then get you a strike, because I don't like what you do when you get all those likes.
Okay, I understand, yo. Let me just give a damn. I won't upload my shit to Facebook, Twitter, or the Instagram, but if I do not, and I don't give a damn, fuck it, stop comedy, and I'll just move to OnlyFans.
Feeding that algo.
Feeding that algo. Feeding that algo. Feeding that algo. Feeding that algo.
feeding that algo, feeding that algo.
Badoink, £10, please.
Oh.
That's what I say when it flops out.
Oh.
When comedy fails, that's what I'll be doing.
Oh my God.
That's the free tier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Badoinking for cash.
Oh my
Fair
God.
play.
It's just a bunch of sausages on a plate, and you're just like, all right, you want to see a little bit more of my breakfast?
Can I just say what that reminded me of? Last night, somebody did a scene where we talked about things crashing, and then somebody went to put a chair in the middle, and the chair fell out of their hand.
Oh, that was so funny. They were building the car behind them in that improv way of pushing the chairs upstage, and someone goes, right, your driving lesson. Rule number 1, don't crash. And then he dropped the chair and it crashed.
But he dropped it by accident.
Yeah.
He didn't mean to drop it, and it was
So
perfectly
funny.
timed. Like, that is one of the things that, like, is beautiful about, like, we started our verse at the same time, and then it
Yeah.
became this, like, back and forth of trying to post
Hey.
before each other. Like, it's so
We're always at home to Mr. Fuck Up, right?
Yep.
Yes.
It's not a mistake, it's an
Ooh.
opportunity. All
Mr.
that good
Fuck Up.
improv shit. Yeah. Hello, I'm Mr. Fuck Up.
And you
As I scream in
welcome.
the mirror every morning.
Oh, fucking amazing. Oh my gosh. What is your grand plan for MC Hammersmith? Like, we talked a little bit. We had lunch before this.
Yes.
So I know some of the answers to some of these questions. But
Yeah.
yeah.
why is it a mixtape with MC Hammer?
Sick. Would love that. My first album is coming out in October, which I'm very excited about.
Woo!
Just because I found that I was only ever freestyling until 2020. And then when the pandemic hit, I was like, oh, I've written loads of bars. I'll put these online. And then they popped off online. And I went, oh, maybe I should keep doing this. And I don't really have a game plan beyond release a, like, series of hip-hop comedy, like, pieces of content, whether it's an album, whether it's more vids, whether it's both. And in terms of live shows, I would love to be able to expand the stuff I do from more of a solo act to the sort of things you guys do, which is you're a team, you're a collective, and you have an incredible beatboxer, you have incredible singers and dancers, and you're all rapping together because you're all brilliant freestylers.
Mostly dancers, yeah.
Mostly dancers, yes.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I mean, the shapes you were cutting last night were professional.
Yeah. My dancing involves in me slapping my thigh and going,
Beautiful.
That is too hot. I'm at half chop. That was amazing.
Ooh. OnlyFans. Also, you need to teach them about your canceled thing where you say canceled. Yeah.
Oh yeah, if someone makes a mistake, like, oh, I missed my bus, I think it's a very fun bit to go, cancelled, blocked and reported, cancelled. It's great.
So
Yeah. I guess the game plan is just bigger and better, like just keep
Yeah.
having fun. Like if I was just a circuit comedian for the rest of my life, just doing live gigs and just surviving off that with no online fan base, I'd be very happy, like quite sincerely, because that's a good enough life. And if I can also, do stuff that makes me happier, that's scaled up with more production value, then that's great. You know,
I could see you getting a TV show. You're such an
Well-
enigmatic personality. Like, I could also see you doing this humble, like, Catskills of the UK kind of life you're talking about,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Rolling up, collecting your pay, and heading home. But I could also see you just becoming this massive cult of personality in the UK. I feel that
another
for you.
Jesus-like figure, like a big tree.
You're very messianic in my brain.
Yeah. Although, actually, to fold it back, do you know what the best moment, and I've seen it so many times in your, what's the show that's not anybody? It's just the classic North Coast show.
The home show.
The home show, yeah. So there is a moment in the opening that you guys do, which to explain in case anyone's not seen it, is once you've done your opening where you're rapping about the various objects and the scene that you're painting, is you go, oh, and then in the breakdown, you guys are grabbing chairs and furniture and stuff from the venue, and you are slapping them like on the ground like it's stomp, and I forget that that's coming every single time seeing a show, and every time it happens, I go, oh my god, this is so fucking sick. I can see everybody in the crowd
Full chub.
full chub, full mast, both inches of it. And I can see like everyone around me who's watching it for the first time lose their fucking minds because they're like, oh my god, it's actually improv. They're grabbing furniture and they're doing like syncopated rhythms and shit, and they're rapping over it and dancing, and it looks fucking sick.
Yeah.
Wow,
So cool.
That's so interesting because I've never. People usually always talk about the show and just oh, I love when you do the rapping that one scene, but nobody usually ever talks about the intro.
It is my favorite bit. It's downhill from there.
For
But
sure.
like in terms of cool factor, like it's very cool when the beatbox like yourself comes out and does
thank
5
you.
minutes at the top.
Yeah.
The owner of Monkey Brow, the previous owner, when Amir was doing the the North Coast show that we brought to Edinburgh in 2018.
Shout out to
Yes.
Amir.
Yeah,
Shout
said
out to
that when
Amir.
Amir was beatboxing in that blue light in Monkey Brow, he went, "This is why I set up this club. It's the coolest thing I've ever seen." And then he left the business immediately after.
Are you serious? So Amir's
Yeah.
performance was the swan song?
I don't think it was a correlation causation thing. I don't think the two things were necessarily connected, but he was like, "That's the best thing I've ever seen," and then just left the
Oh my
business.
Flipping this and
god.
sending it to Amir.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna tag him
So
1,000 times.
Yeah. So the cool factor is incredible. To answer your question, I'd love to up the cool factor because
Yeah.
that's not a thing that I have inherently. I don't know if that's obvious. So
It's like
yeah.
part of your asset is that you're so unassuming, and then like fire bars come out.
Hammersmith. Then the Hammersmith comes out.
Hammersmiths it out.
Sick.
I
Yeah.
did go to Hammersmith once, and I was like, "This is the funniest thing ever," because I knew you,
Yeah.
and I was like, "This is the poshest, most relaxing seaside city,
Yes.
like, or
Well, seaside is
neighborhood.
by a river. Yeah.
river, yeah,
Yeah.
the Thames, the sea
Yeah.
of the Thames."
I feel like I don't even know. No, I'm qualified to speak on this. I feel like hip hop suffers like an identity crisis or a crisis of something because we've seen in America like black culture become like grabbed and appropriated.
Yeah.
But like black culture is also the thing about us in America at the very least is like we love other people and other cultures so much.
Yeah.
We want everyone to come to the cookout, but we feel we've been burned. So it's like
Of course.
it's like a weird thing because I think like just like I did, like I think people get a thrill out of seeing like some guy who looks like Harry Potter love and become incredibly proficient at a thing that we created. And,
Yeah.
it's just like a weird thing that we haven't reconciled in ourselves yet. We haven't figured. Just trying to make the journey to like own everything that we make to the extent that we can own it. But it's a fantastic. I think it's a fantastic problem. But it is a conflict that I think the culture has within itself.
Yeah, I definitely think so. And I don't know how qualified I am to speak on this necessarily, but that boundary between appropriation and appreciation is like such a, to me, it's so fine, but also so obvious. I think that, I mean, I profit off of black culture by doing this. We all do, right?
Yeah.
And so you do have to be like very aware of this. I think if you love hip hop and love rap music and you like, as you say, proficiency is an interesting word there. If you love it and you practice it and you live it and you just listen to the music, then just by freestyling and expressing yourself, not necessarily through the language of that, but in the same sort of flow patterns to the top of the intelligence, the same way that it was done when it was first invented, and as a tribute to the stuff that you love, then it comes from a place of honesty and a place of like simplicity. I think if I was bad at this and like a terrible freestyle but still trying to peddle it, I think that would be like a different issue altogether. So if anyone ever asks me, even though I don't think I'm necessarily qualified to speak about it, my intuition is just, I think you have to be pretty good at it, like out of a place of love, right?
I mean the love. I think the love is the biggest thing. The love and your generosity to be like, well, this is where I got it from. This is what it is, at where it comes from. I think it's like both sides of it. Like when I'm talking to my other peers, other people in the community, other people of color, like who come from hip hop, like it's like we're like, well, sometimes people are like, well, they're taking it from us, but I'm also like, yeah, but that's the thing we wanted. We wanted it to take over the world. We wanted people to fall in love with it. So it's like there's that internal conflict. It's like we're scared we're going to lose it, but we also want everyone else to love it. We want everyone else to admit that it's great and to want to, you know what I mean? It's like be a rock star. In order to be a rock star, people have to want to be like you.
Yeah.
You know?
I guess that makes sense, yeah. And it is that thing of like, it's black culture and it's a universal language, right? And it's now obviously the most popular music genre worldwide. So as that keeps growing in like scope, like, those new challenges emerge, right?
Yeah. And you're just, incredibly respectful and competent.
Well, thanks. We're out here doing the bare minimum, right?
Yeah. So in all your travels, what was particularly kind of memorable? Either it could have been in your Harry Potter tours, but you've done such a I've heard stories and lore of you where you did like 90 shows in one Edinburgh Fringe.
Yeah.
And I just would feel bad if we didn't get to some of that in the podcast. And because you're a machine. And I feel like we're like, haha, you're so good. But like, I want people to understand when they're listening to this, like, Will is a comedy machine. And like, can you speak to just the unbelievable feats, statistic feats of comedy.
I mean, yeah, it's all quantity over quality. The way forward. I guess because I live in Edinburgh and because the Fringe is so expensive for folk that don't live in Edinburgh. So my venues are free or the deals are very good. I'm not paying for like any additional accommodation costs. I've got my own place, I've got my own food. And because it's all improv shows, it means, the actual overheads to put on this show are significantly less than most other comics or performers or improvisers. So it means that, you can, if you wanted to, do 5 shows a day for a month, which I did for a month. In 2015, I did over 100 hour-long improv shows, and a lot of them were bad and suffered as a result. But you get so much better as a performer by getting the reps in. Now I have to really dial it back. And the biggest reason is probably because my body's aging and I'm becoming more feeble. But also vocally, I don't know if you guys have the same thing, but vocal trauma can happen if you push it too far. So now I've got a vocal coach and I take care of the voice. But if I do too many shows in one day and don't warm up properly and I just really push it for a month, I can't speak for the whole of September. I've just worn out too much in August.
The lesson there is, sure, you can do it. And you will get better, but if you do it willy-nilly and you just sort of white knuckle it, there's a downside. Yeah.
Don't be willy-nilly, you fucking silly Billy.
Don't be willy-nilly, you fucking silly Billy.
Don't be willy-nilly, you fucking silly Billy. Don't be willy-nilly, yo, this is how it happened. Yes, I did binge by doing too many shows at the Edinburgh Fringe. And then it wasn't great, it wasn't so dope. You know who was angry? My fucking voice coach. She was like, look at you, that is such torture. You've given yourself some fucking vocal trauma. So actually, maybe it's what a display. Be a normal man and just do 1 show a day.
Don't be fucking willy-nilly, you fucking silly Billy.
Don't be willy-nilly, you fucking silly Billy. Don't be willy-nilly, you fucking silly Billy. Don't be willy-nilly,
you fucking silly Billy.
Get your voice warm, or you gonna bring the storm. Make it calm before you go and bring it on. Drink a warm tea, maybe with some peppermint. Go ahead and do it before you go and do that sprint vocally with your vocal cords all in your esophagus. Yeah, you gonna see how much you gonna be dropping this, but you gonna be dropping this quality if you don't make sure that you come real cool.
Don't be willy-nilly,
you fucking silly Billy. Don't be willy-nilly,
you fucking silly Billy. Your vocal cords are gonna erode. You're gonna get yourself some notes. You gotta be careful if you wanna be a winner. You gotta get that lemon tea with a side of ginger. They call it a medicine bomb if you're lucky when you go to the Starbuckies, but that's not enough. You gotta get above your throat if you wanna show your chords a little love. Don't be willy-nilly, you fucking silly Billy. Don't be willy-nilly, you fucking silly Billy.
Don't be willy-nilly, you fucking silly Billy. Don't be willy-nilly, you fucking
silly Billy. Thank you so much for listening to the North Coast Podcast.
Thank you guys. An honor and a pleasure and a delight.
Hey, it was an absolute pleasure having you on. Where can people find you?
mchammersmith.com for all the links. I don't know why I said it like that. That was weird.
And are you plugging any shows coming up if people are in Scotland?
Yes, if you're in Scotland, I do gigs fucking all the time. 4 or 5 nights a week in Scotland. I post all my stuff on Instagram when the gigs are. It's MC Hammersmith on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and I'm also on TikTok because I am cool.
Thank you so much, Will. It's been a pleasure.
Thank
we are
you guys.
so excited to hang out with you at the Sarasota Improv Festival. Also, if you enjoy the podcast, please throw us a rate and review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify Podcasts. Additionally, we have a show coming up at Caveat, Anybody, an improvised historical hip opera on August 10th, where we improvise the life and times of a historical figure or icon. Check it out. We'll see you there. Bye.